Probably the best part of this battle yet is at Hill 2115. I told my guys, just like on the other hill on 2131, to push to contact and then engage. And this is when half a platoon of hostile fighters emerges from the ridge, and they don't even see us. They're running right on top of us, getting grenaded, machine gunned, and just totally devastated to the last man. I think next turn we're going to run these squads over. There cannot be much left on the other side. Besides, they must all be very pinned down and suppressed, having seen this happen to their buddies. Alright, howdy boyos. Welcome back to Combat Mission. Today, we will not be playing Combat Mission Black Sea or Shock Force 2. We'll be playing Combat Mission Afghanistan. This is an older version of Combat Mission that is not going to be updated. There's a whole reason for it. I believe a Russian dev licensed the engine, and together with Battlefront, they made this game, but since then, they haven't really worked on the game. It is about 30 bucks Canadian, like 25 US dollars on their store. And it is very cool. It basically follows multiple Russian units from 1979, the very beginning of the Soviet-Afghan conflict, all the way to them retreating all the way up to 1989. Today, we're doing a little scenario. We'll take a look at the briefing in just a second, but the main thing you have to know is that my entire force is in this valley right amongst the heavily fortified Mujahideen high points. So we have Hill 2127, Hill 2115, and Hill 2131. We're not getting any reinforcements. We have to deal with these objectives with the guys we have on the ground. The one thing we do have is an abundance of air and artillery support. Let's take a quick look at the briefing. It is very late in the Soviet-Afghan War. It is 1987. We have to try and deal with these strong points on the mountains. Like I said, luckily, we do have air and artillery support. These Mi-24s that we have for air support have the chain guns on there. They have no rockets, but we do have multiple sets of mortars available. Thank God. It's going to make it a little easier for us. And the basic plan is that we have to use our mobility and our speed and our training to try and get out of the super bad spot we're in at the very start of the battle. I mean, we're right in this valley between 2 or 3 high points. The map, pretty much as you've seen, we have to get out of this valley and move to the 3 points. Now, I think what we're going to do, we're going to focus on Hill 2115 and Hill 2131 right now, mostly because Hill 2127 doesn't really have eyes on us. So we're going to go give a bunch of orders, and we're going to do this in the same style as I've done before. Every minute we'll try and catch some cool highlights from that turn, much like my striker video I uploaded a couple of weeks ago, because that seemed to be something I personally enjoyed a lot, and you guys seem to really like that. So let's get into it. Be right back. This is going to be absolutely nuts, so the first turn we might have to use multiple times to get different angles of everything that is happening. Here we go. So in the first turn, I immediately requested air support on this structure over here from an Mi-24, and we have artillery coming down on Hill 2115 and 2131. I'm trying to spread out my infantry while keeping the machine guns in the middle of the formation to engage, while infantry is trying to move out of the valley onto different locations. Initially, we immediately spot this enemy machine gun bunker, which is getting just destroyed by RPGs, RPKs, mortars are landing all around it. Now we have this area over here, which has at least multiple hostiles in and around this structure, including a machine gun team, who are now finding the worst end of an Mi-24 strafing run. So really, a lot happened in that turn. The most important things to notice were the infantry slowly crawling up the ridge this way and towards Hill 2131 and Hill 2115. At some point, I'm going to have to eliminate this machine gun bunker. There is not a lot of infantry. Luckily, behind us. So once we deal with this contact, we can split our force in two. Eventually, once we've secured both the hills, we'll move to our last point. Turn, our VDV are going to be pushing on the hill 2115. Artillery is coming down. That bunker is still on the right side. Heavy suppressive fire is coming in from all the troops still in the valley, all the machine guns, some of the sections that I haven't told to move. Luckily, I found out that we actually knocked out that machine gun bunker. So these guys I had initially sent in to try and get close enough to throw grenades or explosives inside the bunker are no longer going to be necessary to do that. Building earlier, a small team of VDV is trying to move up to the building as another Mi-24 gun run comes in right over their head, hopefully suppressing the contacts in and around that building as they have reached their destination, and we'll be pushing over this ridge, hopefully engaging any Mujahideen who are now heavily suppressed by those two Mi-24 gun runs. Brave VDV charging Hill 2131 come under heavy fire from a emplaced heavy machine gun. Luckily, no one gets knocked out in the initial burst. They're too suppressed to immediately start returning fire. I'm going to have to deal with this machine gun in the next turn, probably by heavily suppressive firing it and moving the squad around it to try and get the gunners to be knocked out. Yet again, another crazy turn. Buckle up for this one. First of all, an Mi-24 comes flying over these troops and delivers yet another strafing run very close on top of the trench and the house over here on the far ridge. Towards the objective, it's the furthest away right now. I noticed we had suppressed the machine gun here just below Hill 2131, so I decided to just charge my VDV up the hill. Somehow, miraculously, the machine gun, the sniper team, and the other infantry on the hill only knock out a single trooper on the initial assault. Machine gun fires here and there, but bursts from my guys down the hill are heavily suppressing this trench. Squad member of this goes down, the sniper team claims another one, but we have suppressed and eliminated part of the heavy machine gun team, and more Soviet reinforcements are coming in to try and support the assault on Hill 2131. VDV are also pushing up between Hill 2127 and 2131. This particular squad is pushing up to a heavily manned Mujahideen trench. They, however, make short work of the members of the Mujahideen in this trench as they, one by one, get eliminated via very accurate rifle fire from down below, supported by very close-up rifle fire from the assaulting units. As you can see, this entire squad of Mujahideen has been annihilated. Fighting upwards towards the final objective, these VDV come across a trench with a Mujahideen command section in it. They are going to take a single wounded, but they will eliminate the rest of the Mujahideen in this trench. Grenades are coming out, landing very close to some VDV troopers, but luckily for them, the grenade landed right behind them in a ditch as the last member of the assault squad turns around and knocks out the surviving Mujahideen. I'm sure the grenade would have probably done him in too. So with some of your constructive criticism from the last episode, I figured I would show you what the map looks like from above right now. You can see we've kind of pushed out some units outside of the initial valley that we're in. We have units pushing very close to Hill 2131 and 2115. And we have basically got guys right at the foot of this reinforced position with the house and the trench. So I'm thinking this turn we'll push them in here, secure it, and occupy it. Push a large section of our machine gunners over there who can then help hopefully support Hill 2115, and then we'll hopefully also be able to push around here towards Hill 2131. We still have an Mi-24 on station and 120mm mortars ready to engage whenever I want them to. Gonna keep those though. I'm really thinking Hill 2127 might be defended pretty accurately or pretty hard. So we're going to use the mortars at least for Hill 2127, and we'll keep the air support on station for when we need them. Again, lots of action in this turn, specifically towards this building and trench. It's going to get very bloody, this one. I decided to give 2 of the 3 teams here an assault order, which means they split up their team automatically, send people forward with a small base of fire, and then my command element I had just told to push up to the top of the ridge. So right away, a lot more guys are here than I legitimately thought there would be. I also thought they would be heavily suppressed. I lose one of my troopers. For some reason, the guy sees his friend get killed and doesn't care. A lot more Mujahideen are in here than I initially thought, and they do drop to the 4 of my friendly troopers. Then we get into some super insane CQB. The grenades are being thrown left, right, and center. We got rounds coming over from back up the hill, and the Mujahideen are obviously overrun, but not without a little cost to the Soviet VDV who are charging this position. But the trench is basically get cleared, and now we have to focus on getting this building occupied. That's not everything though. This trench position right below Hill 2131 with the sniper team in it and the heavy machine gun somehow suddenly wakes up just as my guys are pushing in for an assault. And this heavy machine gun is laying down some pretty good fire on my guys. Luckily, I repositioned 2 machine gun teams, and as you can see right here, their machine gun bursts accurately knock out the gunner, thus clearing this trench besides the 1 sniper of any super dangerous contacts. Also, more VDV are pushing up the hill, trying to get eyes on 2131. And we're back at that damn house again. It actually cost me quite a few guys to try to get towards the house, so I sent in this HQ section after making pretty sure it was suppressed by at least 2 machine guns, and then this happened. HQ section, who are veterans, I should add, push in. They push into this building. Oh wow, look, there's no one there. 2 dead Mujahideen. 3 dead Mujahideen. You know, they're fine, they're fine. And then suddenly, it's like, oh crap, there's a guy there. Okay, they knock him out, good. You know, it's all fine, it's all fine. And then this guy gets shot in the back. The 2 surviving members of the HQ section, we're not shooting that. And the 2 surviving Mujahideen try and run out. RPD looks like. And the bolt action rifle, the machine gunner gets knocked out. But the other guy just runs off. Just no one cares for him. Suddenly people from all over the world start shooting at this one guy. Grenade launchers start going off. And thank God someone has the actual accuracy to take him out. I had given all of my units orders to hunt up the hill, which means they slowly move forward, and when they engage any contacts, they'll stop moving. So right here on the tip of 2131, a huge sort of grenade fight goes off with grenades from Mujahideen and our grenades going back. You can see 4, 5, 7, 9. So many grenades start going off on their team, on our team. We do lose a single member of the team who is, I don't even believe, KIA, but we do have this huge grenade fight that just went off, and this team is not feeling very confident at the moment. A team of Mujahideen come out of nowhere and immediately start getting suppressed. I'm talking machine guns, AKs, and rifle-fired grenade launchers start hitting this team. They aren't feeling very confident anymore on their position to go and flank the hill, and one after another starts being taken out. I suspect a lot of it actually comes from the GP grenade launchers that are coming from the AKs, but man, they got annihilated the second they came out in the open. Probably the best part of this battle yet is at Hill 2115. I told my guys, just like on the other hill on 2131, to push to contact and then engage. And this is when half a platoon of hostile fighters emerges from the ridge, and they don't even see us. They're running right on top of us, getting grenaded, machine gunned, and just totally devastated to the last man. I think next turn we're going to run these squads over. There cannot be much left on the other side. Besides, they must all be very pinned down and suppressed, having seen this happen to their buddies. So I decided to give my guys a more aggressive order this time, because I knew there were multiple enemies right here amongst the rocks, obviously from an earlier grenade fight, and for some reason they're not seeing them. They're just walking over them. Then we do finally get eyes on a guy with the Bren. We start engaging. However, he engages us first, knocks us out. I do have more teams coming on the flank, grenades going out, and 2 members of the rebels here get knocked out. However, at that moment, I realized, as you can see the tracers coming out from the right, there is another entrenched position, possibly with a heavy machine gun over here, and we have to knock it out before we can clear the rest of the sector. Alright, this turns out to be a pretty decent turn. We actually spotted a machine gun here, and heavy machine gun earlier, and it's been way out of range, heavily entrenched. Luckily, I managed to get a squad around them, and a grenade plus the burst of that AK takes him out. We're also currently engaging Hill 2127. I have also called in an Mi-24 gun run on that using my spotters, which should come in at about 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm sending the majority of my forces, you can see a part of them over there, towards the new hill that's over the edge there to try and do one final assault supported by heavy artillery from 120mm mortars and the before mentioned Mi-24. So I figured I'd give you a quick update on the situation. This is the map as it is right now. I'm trying to deal with the last resistance on Hill 2115. Same goes for Hill 2131. Obviously, Hill 2127 still has a machine gun bunker on it and a lot of infantry. I'm hoping to clear this trench that's behind Hill 2131, and then we should actually be in a pretty good position to call this a total victory. One major thing that's going on right now, a lot of my rifle teams are saying they are low or completely out of ammo and are down to just their pistols. It's going to be interesting to see how this one's going to end up. Alright, so after the turn I just made with the map overview, they just basically totally surrendered. We did lose quite a few men killed. I suspect that some of those are wounded that I didn't have time to buddy aid yet. That would have potentially not turned into killed. So let's put the number of men killed at 20. That still gives us 103 men okay and 21 wounded. The enemy has been totally annihilated with 1 MIA. I'm assuming he surrendered somewhere. They lost 50 wounded, 66 killed, 27 of theirs were okay. We've done all of our objectives, and they did none. We actually kept the friendly casualties below the threshold, which is pretty decent considering the situation we found ourselves in. So Hill 2115 totally secure. Hill 2131 was a bloody battle, especially these last couple of rebels were very well dug in, and there were also veteran units. This little RPG team here was about to get pushed by not just a suppressing machine gun, but by these 2 squads, and I'm a little disappointed I wasn't able to attack Hill 2127 because the enemy just surrendered. But I was very much ready. As you can see, they're all pretty suppressed up here from all the machine gun fire. I was going to obliterate this mountain with a very hardcore 120mm artillery barrage. I would have walked behind this machine gun bunker, and I don't think a lot of resistance could have been really given. They do have quite a few men left here, but with the 120mm mortars and the airstrike, which I'd actually already called in and hasn't arrived yet, I think this would have been a pretty brutal ending. Now, we did lose a lot of men. I guess that's the risk of, being a Soviet paratrooper. The main thing to take away from this one is that I need to start to be a little more careful in these games. I can't just run up a ridge and be like, oh, I can easily capture this and I'll lose 1 or 2 guys, especially with the way that a lot of the Soviets here are veteran or crack, but even more so, a lot of them are green or regulars, whereas the enemies, especially when you go towards later war scenarios, like this one in 1987, almost all the enemies here, look, are crack, which is a step above my veterancy level. I think I have a few crack units, but most of them are either veteran or regular. So a lot of their enemies, like skill level, was higher than mine, which means better spotting, better accuracy, better resilience against suppression. And that's going to cost you really heavy when also pushing them in defense setup positions. They had a lot of entrenched heavy machine guns, bunkers. We just had the benefit of air and artillery support. I hope you guys enjoyed this new video. I guess it is a very new video in a very old game on Combat Mission Afghanistan. I'd love to see you guys in the next one. Cheers.